Hi, welcome to Pictures, Noise and Words. I'm Hedgie and this is XENTRIX. So I've covered XENTRIX a few times. XENTRIX and I go back to the basically the very beginning of XENTRIX. When my wife bought their first album randomly, she wasn't my wife at the time, sort of randomly bought their first album, Shattered Existence, and the rest is history, as they say. So they have a special kind of place in my heart. In fact, I was thinking about this, oddly enough, not that long ago, when I was trying to think. So when this is not important, right? So just skip through this if you have no interest in this whatsoever. I don't know why you would be interested, but I'm just talking about it. We'll get back to this. When I met my wife, who was then obviously my girlfriend, I was metal and she was not. So she was like, she had quite a thing for Barry Manilow of all people, and she liked pop music like Culture Club and stuff, 80s pop. And then of course I ruined all that by introducing her to like Iron Maiden and whatever. But it was kind of more of a one-way street at the beginning, of course, because I was like, hey, listen to this, and get in my car and you'll have to listen to whatever I play and all of that. It's a great way to lose your girlfriend, so I don't recommend it. But luckily that didn't happen. And then Shattered Existence by XENTRIX, I think, is the first time that it came the other way, where she bought something, she went, listen to this, and I was like, ooh. And I think that's the thing that sort of musically bound us together. Music's unsurprisingly quite important to me. So XENTRIX has this like special place where I'm not objective about it at all. I just, I just like it on demand kind of thing. And what? Oh, what was I going to say? Oh, it's gone out of my head. So yeah, this is not going to be objective. I already like this and I haven't heard it. They've got a new album out, and this is where I'm not 100%. So the new album is not out until end of October, like October 30th. And as far as I can tell, it's this, Allied with the Enemy, which just happens to be the name of this song, making this the title track, if that is correct. So the information I have seen says this is the new album. It's called Allied with the Enemy. Now then, underneath this video in YouTube for the song Allied with the Enemy, it says from XENTRIX's upcoming self-titled album. Now, if your album's self-titled, it would just be called XENTRIX, wouldn't it? So, but it's under there. I mean, it's their official video. So that's why I'm like not 100% sure whether this is the album or whether the album is just going to be called XENTRIX. This is also very, very XENTRIX artwork, and I can prove that because when we just switch on an image I've got queued up already, that's the guy. Do you see? That's the same guy. So this album, For Whose Advantage, fantastic album, came out in 1990. This was their second album, so they did Shattered Existence, which is a thrash classic as far as I'm concerned. It's quite raw. They basically at the time said they went into the studio and just recorded it, like as a band, play it, let's all play it and record it and released it. So it's got that kind of real raw, but probably some of the best thrash songs ever made. There you go. How's that for a statement? Second album came out, which was a much more professional affair, but still really, really good. They made Kin album, really, really good. And then about mid-90s, they kind of stopped. I think it was like 1996 or something. They brought out an album called Scourge, I'm going to go with. I'm pretty sure it was called Scourge. And I wouldn't go out of your way to find that album. They made Kin, which was brilliant, but very, they'd really moved on as a band from their beginnings, if you like. So it was still very, very good. It was very professional, and I really like it. But you can't. It's hard to compare that to their first album, which was only 3 albums earlier, if you see what I mean. So their 4th album, Kin, came out, and then they made Scourge, and for some reason, as far as I'm concerned, it kind of dropped off a cliff. And then they went away, and then they came back just before the pandemic. Brilliant timing, like 2019. They never really went away. They were still like touring here and there, but they had the singer left, and the usual stuff over, obviously, decades we're talking here. So they came back in 2019. Their new singer, he's not that new, he's been around for a while now. People are always new, aren't they? He could be the new singer, and it's like 20 years. Like Anthony Darris from Halloween, from Halloween. He's been there way longer than the original singer. In my mind, he's still, the new singer. Anyway, this is a long intro, isn't it? That's because I love XENTRIX. Clearly, they've got like this character who's a theme now, but their artwork has a certain thing to it. They're quite like skyscrapers. I'll switch that off because it's distracting me. So they came back 2019, and they've made 2 albums since then. Both of them are good. And then they've got this one coming out end of October, as I say. I mean, I don't know if it's any good, obviously, yet, but I have high hopes. And their new singer's great. He fits the XENTRIX sound like a glove. He sounds very, very much like the old singer, which is a surprise, really, because it is a certain way of singing. Anyway. So I've covered XENTRIX several times. It's a band I will always cover. I think they'll bring a new thing out and I'll go, ooh, XENTRIX. They're touring around Europe. They're touring literally, they're going to be like half an hour away from me in the middle of November. Touring with Nervosa, a band I'm really interested to see, to be honest. I love the Nervosa stuff, and I'd be very interested to see them live. So if I can, I'll be there. I told my wife, and she's like, ooh. So that's the thing. So XENTRIX kind of is the musical glue between my wife and I. And I just hit a button. There you go. There's a little preview for you. I don't know what I did then. How did I do that? Anyway, as ever, my professionalism shines through. Excuse me. So I really should get on with it after all that, shouldn't I? Oop.
Powerless as seem to be under duress, cooperating.
Wow, that was shorter than I expected. What was that? That was like 3 minutes 16. I was like, oh. Just another little note before I go off into talking about that. Um, I, I would say I play the drums, but that's not quite fair. I used to play the drums. Admittedly, I don't really play them anymore. And I used to always want to be able to play like Dennis Gasser, who was the drummer. That guy who's always been the drummer for XENTRIX. And because in the earlier albums, not as obvious in that song, but in the earlier albums, he had a very deliberate style where it's like he thought it all through so that you would just get drum hits that you kind of thought, wow, that's a good idea. You know what I mean? Like he would just, and I'm talking about like single, just in the right place. It's hard to explain, but he had his own style, and I'm sure he still does have his own style. Like I say, it's not quite as obvious in this because it's pretty straightforward thrash song, isn't it? But I always wanted to drum like him, and I would try to sometimes do Dennis Gasser things. So, yeah, we're kind of, me and XENTRIX, we're like that. They don't know that, but anyway, they're from the north of England. They're literally from 20 miles up the road from where I live. I once saw them. Like, this is just me reminiscing. And forget the song, who cares? No, I once saw them with my wife in their heyday playing in a tent at a country fair, and it was the most bizarre thing ever. It was just like, what on earth is going on? So yeah, XENTRIX, if you see this, I saw you play in St. Helens Park in a tent in 1990, whatever year it was. Anyway, so it's very XENTRIX, right? Obviously, they are XENTRIX. They have their tropes. They have their vocal melodies. They don't have a vast array of vocal melodies. Quite a lot of their songs have that sound, that kind of vocal melody. He sings that way, and that's the way that the original singer sang too. But I'm just in, like, there's no getting out. This to me is part of my life, so that's why I can't be objective about it. So, I mean, you should always make your own mind up anyway, shouldn't you, about anything? Take my word for it. This is just my opinion. But this, even more so, I would say, I don't have anything clever to say about it, because I'm too connected to it, if you see what I mean. I don't have anything clever to say about anything, frankly. But anyway, so yeah, Allied with the Enemy, that's the song. I think it's the album, going back to what I said earlier. But either way, it's not out until October the 30th anyway, and it's only the very beginning of August. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll release something else before the album comes out, and I'm sure when they do, I'll probably cover it, because that's what I do. Yeah, let me know what you think. There's not a lot I can say about it, really. It's a straightforward, old school, thrash sounding song. I'll be the first to admit, it's not going to blow your socks off. There's nothing, it's 3 minutes of old school thrashy stuff. So yeah, I'm not suggesting it's the best thing ever been created, or it takes you on a musical journey or anything like that. I just like it. So yeah, some of you might hate it and go meh, which is fair enough. But like I say, I've been on board with these guys for too long. Forever, from half my life. Okay. Let me know as ever, of course, and I'll see you soon.